Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm AndyRC and today I present to you a rebranding of AndyRC headquarters. You may have noticed that the RC cave has not featured on the channel for a few days, and that is because it's had a refurb. Yes, I'm afraid the checkered wall is gone for a more grown-up purple colour. However, RC reviews are in full swing and boy do I have an interesting one for you today. This is going to be a long one, so strap in. This is the Zerotech Dobby drone. Zerotech have been around for a few years and they have come out with this pocket drone. It has kindly been provided by banggood.com. If it wasn't for them, I'd never be able to review such new technology, so many thanks to them for sending it to me. You can buy this drone, but it is pricey at around 300 GBP. I have been following the progress of this one for some time. Videos started to surface in July 2016 and now here is my take on it. Never have I ever received a quadcopter for review that comes without a controller and furthermore comes in such a small box. That is because you have to provide the controller yourself. Unless you live under a rock like I sometimes do, it is assumed that if you are into tech gadgets, then you most likely will already have a modern smartphone, such as an Android device or an iOS device. This one requires Android 4.3 and above or iOS 8.0 and above. The Dobby drone is not aimed at the avid hobbyist. However, even if you are a Betterflight, Kiss, Pixhawk or Phantom fanatic, I guarantee I have your interest with this one, even for just the novelty of it. It claims to be an autonomous selfie drone that flies at the push of a button. This isn't your average toy-grade model. At first glance, it looks like a power bank for a phone or tablet that will fit in your pocket. Closer inspection reveals folding out arms, and it starts to resemble a quadcopter, with 4 tiny brushless motors and folding 2-leaf propellers. The motors seem to be around the 1104 to 1304 size. However, if you are buying this thing, you won't care what that means. Underneath, we have a sonar sensor and an optical imaging camera, the same as can be found on the latest DJI Phantom. There's no object avoidance here though. These sensors are for getting the most stable hover possible by using the latest and greatest technology. They face down and relay information back to the onboard processor to paint a picture of the ground with the objective of keeping the quad as locked into its position as possible. Also underneath is where the proprietary 7.6 volt 970 milliamp 2-cell battery slots into place. It has a button on it and when pressed in, it gives you an LED indication of how full the battery is, similar to the Phantom Smart battery. However, there's no automatic discharging with this one, it is just a power indicator. Also underneath is a reset button. If you encounter any problems, such as the unit bricking, all settings will return to default, along with the Wi-Fi hotspot name and password. You're going to need some kind of needle to press the reset button though. You are given a proprietary charger in the package as well, which also comes with a USB Type-C lead to charge the battery from your laptop or computer. Be warned though, this charger is power hungry, and it discharged my laptop's battery in no time. It's best to use the included USB wall socket or a desktop computer to charge the battery. Unfortunately, this version of the Dobby has its instruction manual all in Chinese. I hope they change that in the future. The package is really minimalistic, with the only other components being a micro USB-C to mini B adapter, and as mentioned, a USB wall socket charger. Interestingly, there's a socket underneath the quadcopter that accepts a USB Mini B lead. This is what the adapter is for. You would have thought that they would have kept everything to the one standard, but it's a minor detail. Why do you need to connect the quad via a USB lead? Well, the quadcopter has a built-in 10GB memory card, which is 9.87 GB to be exact. It's non-removable and it's part of the quadcopter, so they give you the mini B adapter to plug it into the quadcopter and attach to a PC or laptop. The quadcopter will then show up as the Dobby drone on your PC, just like a phone would, and you can copy the saved video and photo files onto your computer. You have to have the battery connected to the quad to do that, unfortunately. You can't view any files on the drone just by plugging it in without the battery connected to the quad. The quad completely boots up when you plug it into the computer. The pictures are saved as a 4x3 JPEG file, which are upscaled to 4K. The videos save in a MP4 format at 1080p in 30 frames per second at 14.8 megabit and in a 16:9 aspect ratio. The quadcopter does not charge via this lead, so be aware of that. Looks-wise, the Dobby drone is really premium, and it should be. It's being released at a premium price. It's a bit of a risk from the company. Something that the photos do not show is that the colour scheme is pearlescent, and this is consistent with the charger and the battery as well. My one complaint so far is that this is advertised as a pocket drone, but when the arms are folded up, the props can still protrude outside of the body. It would have been nice to see them clipped in for a better fit in the pocket. I have crashed this one a couple of times getting to grips with it. Due to the lack of information in English, I made a couple of mistakes with it, but hopefully that will benefit English users. The props run really close to the body, and in a crash, they have chipped away at the paintwork a little. It's not a deal breaker, but I was really annoyed when it happened. And with it all being a light colour, it retained a lot of grass stains on the body and props in the process. The idea is, though, that you shouldn't be crashing this one, and I will explain that in the flight test. You are not given any spare props with this one, but I reckon I could break one if I tried hard enough. It really is pocket size though. When compared to a 5-inch phone, it's pretty much the same dimensions. There is a 13 megapixel camera up front. It has varying angles which can be changed manually with your fingers. They are labelled as 22.5 degrees, 0 degrees, minus 22.5 degrees, minus 45 degrees, minus 67.5 degrees, and 90 degrees. The camera is a CMOS Sony IMX214 sensor with a field of view of 75 degrees or 28mm and an f-stop of 2.2 with an infinity focus. That information is generally only for us camera geeks out there. Lastly, there is a status indicator light on the back of the quad. The colour combinations mean various things, so to avoid boring you, here is a chart showing all of their meanings. I'm only really interested in the blue GPS lock light. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. They always advertise these quadcopters as easy to use, but in reality, that usually never goes to plan. I'm an Android user, so I downloaded their app off the Play Store, which is aptly entitled Do Fun. My auto rotation app kind of screws with it a little bit, which is a pain, but I guess not everyone uses one. To turn the drone on, you have to press the button on the top for 2 seconds. You will hear a fan boot up similar to the DJI Phantom, which will be cooling the processor inside. This quad comes with a Qualcomm 801 Snapdragon processor, which is one up from my 2013 Nexus 5 phone. It's pretty amazing, really. It has 2GB of RAM as well. On your phone's Wi-Fi setting, you will need to connect to the hotspot that the drone creates and type in the password Zerotech. This is sometimes a bit clunky, but that could be down to my aging phone. Then, navigate to the app. The first time that I did this, it told me that I had to update the app to the latest version. It then instructed me to connect to the quad and update the firmware on the quad wirelessly. I was happy to see that the app is pretty clear and in English. As mentioned, the instructions that come with the quad are all in Chinese. However, if you go to the top right menu button, you can scroll down to a quick guide, which will open a PDF document of a quick start guide which is in English. Most instructions are there, but some functions are left unexplained, so hopefully that's where my video will come in. In this menu, there are also some other options to explore. The first one is simple. You can select the phone or tablet to vibrate when you take a picture using the shutter button. The second option mutes the artificial sound of the shutter noise on the phone when a photo is taken. After that is the orientation control. My advice here as a hobbyist is to select face to tail. The other option reverses the controls when the quad is facing towards you. Seeing as this is a selfie drone, the idea is that it pretty much always faces you. So for a beginner, the reverse controls might suit you better. After that, we have Novice Mode. According to the instructions, Novice Mode only allows you to fly outdoors. It also does not allow you to take off from your palm. Disabling Novice Mode gives you this option called Turn Over. It enables a flip button on the main screen to do 360-degree flips. It will only allow you to do flips when the battery is pretty full. When the battery is low, it won't allow you to do them and you'll get an error message on the screen. Control method is kind of a can of worms. The default control method is set to motion sensing. This means that in parts the quad is controlled using the gyro of your phone. You have to hold down your finger on the right hand side of the screen, then your pitch and tilt is controlled by the gyro on your phone. If in tail mode, when you pitch your phone forward, the drone will move forward, and when you tilt your phone to the left or right, the drone will tilt left or right, and the same when you tilt the phone backwards. Please note, if you selected head in the forward/reverse option, these actions will be reversed. To control the quad's ascent and descent and rudder, this is done by swiping up and down or left and right on the left hand side of the screen. The next control method is called swipe screen, and I would avoid this mode. In this mode, the phone's accelerometer is disabled, and to ascend or descend, you swipe your finger up and down on the screen. To move forward or backwards, you pinch in and out. You have to do some kind of double tap on the screen to control your rudder. It looks sketchy, so I would avoid this mode. And of course, to do your roll, you swipe your finger left to right. The last method is called rocker. This is all of your control sticks on the screen. This one seems less offensive, offering your usual control sticks as if it was a normal transmitter. It also moves with your fingers for ease of use. It is stuck in Mode 2 configuration with this setup, however. Wi-Fi information allows you to change the name of the Wi-Fi hotspot and default password, although I can't imagine anyone trying to hack into it. The frequency switch is a cool option. If your device supports it, you can change between 2.4 GHz and 5.8 GHz for control and video. There's a greater bandwidth with 5.8 GHz, however the range will be less than on 2.4. If you are having connectivity issues, it might be worth changing to 5.8 GHz for a clearer signal, especially if you are around a lot of Wi-Fi routers. However, 5.8 GHz will not penetrate through objects as well as 2.4 GHz either. Language is self-explanatory, although there's only options for Chinese or English at the moment. Compass calibration is an important one. As for all GPS-equipped quads, the compass assists the GPS position hold by telling the quad which direction it is facing. A calibration is required to cater for magnetic interference caused by local circumstances. It's done in the normal way by instructing you to rotate the quad on a horizontal and vertical axis. Preview resolution is the video streaming quality to your mobile device. Depending on the power of your device, I suggest that you select this as low as possible to get the best latency. From default, it is set to VGA, so I will leave it at that for this review. The hand switch just reverses the side that you have to press down on the phone when you're in the motion control function, and of course also the ascent and descent and rudder. It basically allows you to have either on the left or right hand side of the phone screen. Unfortunately, it does not give you a Mode 1 function in the rocker control method, which would have been nice for me. You only have Mode 2 in that control method. Underneath that, we have the Dobby Flight Controller update and the app update. I'm not sure why these options are there, as the app prompted me to update both on startup, but it seems that you can do it manually if you need to. After that is the capacity available on the quad's built-in storage. You have to be connected to the quad for it to display correctly, otherwise it just says 0. About gives you the version of the app that you have. You can seem to update the app in this section as well. You can report bugs if you wish, as well as providing personal feedback to the creators. Let's go back to the main screen. For a drone that is supposed to be a one-button push and fly, there's quite a lot of options and icons here. The top left icon is a profile option. You can create a Zerotech account. However, from what I can tell, this does nothing so far. The next icon displays your height in meters, and the one after that shows your distance in meters. The top main icon shows you the quad's status. This varies from disconnected to not located when you have no GPS signal, or IMU failure when the compass needs calibrating. You will get an optical flow located message when indoors and the quad can fix on the ground. And finally, when outdoors and the quad has above 7 satellites, you will get a GPS locked message. The next icon along to that is your Wi-Fi signal strength, and the icon to the right of that is the number of GPS satellites that the quad has fixed to. It flashes red until above 7, which it deems to be enough to fly outside. Then we have the quad's battery level. On the left hand side of the screen we have the palm takeoff button. Once selected, it will prompt you to confirm a takeoff. The quad should then take off and this icon will change to the palm landing button. Below that is the face tracking and target tracking options. For now, when I select face tracking, I get a coming soon message, so for now I guess that doesn't work. Target tracking works similar to the way that it does in the DJI Go app. You have to be above 5 meters and have at least 10 GPS satellites before it will work. The camera angle also has to be put into the minus 45-degree position. You will get some buttons come up on the screen. One will say turn on EIS, which you have to press to turn on electronic stabilization. You will then be able to draw a box with your finger around yourself and then press the start tracking button. The drone should then follow you until you press stop tracking. Underneath that is the takeoff and land button. Holding this button down will cause the app to count down 3, 2, 1 and then lift the quadcopter up 1 meter into the air. Consequently, once in the air, the button changes to a home icon. This then becomes the return to home function. It will land where the drone took off from. So if you want to land on the spot, it's best to press the palm landing button and the quad will land wherever it is in its GPS hold. The last button on the left is a picture of a microphone. This allows you to control the quad via some voice commands. There are 5 voice commands that work. The phrase fly up will perform a takeoff. Saying get down will land the quad. Saying cheers, which is one of my favorite sayings, will take a photo. The phrase Dobby go will perform a palm takeoff and Dobby back will perform a palm landing. Onto the last icons on the right. The top one is for photo mode. It is a time delay for when the shutter button is pressed. I guess if you're wanting to take a selfie picture but not have your phone in the shot, then you can set a time delay for that. The next icon down is our photo and video parameters button. Under mode, we have the option to take a single picture using the camera shutter button, or take pictures in a burst mode up to 15 pictures per time, again using the camera shutter button. or take a short 10-second video using the video record button. Under parameters, we can change the white balance and the exposure compensation. And in the settings button, we can select image stabilization. This is digital stabilization, so you need to select the camera angle that you have manually selected on the quad. This will in real time apply digital stabilization to a 10-second video clip, while at the same time the quad will fly away from you, giving you a reversed flyaway stabilized selfie video in theory. This stabilization is not applied to the normal video recording mode. This is something that you could apply during post-production, however, because it is a digital stabilization and not a hardware stabilization. There's a couple of icons left. There's the video record button. I have done an initial test with this, and it seems like when the quad's battery gets too low, the video recording stops. When it did that, it seemed to corrupt the video file, so I will have to try that out again. Underneath that is the gallery. The gallery is actually the video and pictures that is stored on the quad's internal storage rather than a screen captured video through the phone. Therefore, to view a video or photo from the drone, it downloads the files wirelessly from the drone to the device that you are using, which I think is pretty cool. It saves you plugging the drone into a PC to view the video or photo results. You do have to wait some time for the files to download, however, and you need to make sure that you have enough space for them on your device. Let's talk quickly about the range. The specs say that the quad should be good for 100 meters. I'm not sure that would be the case, however, this is a selfie drone, so you don't want to be flying it away too far from yourself anyway. The documents also state that if the quad loses connectivity with the phone, then it will return to home. My phone does not seem to reconnect to a Wi-Fi hotspot that has no internet, so I'd be purely relying on it to land itself if it loses connection. The latency between your device and the quad should be around 160 milliseconds, again according to the manual. This depends on the speed of your phone and also any local interference that you might have. It shouldn't matter too much if the GPS and sensors work as they should. The flight time should be 9 minutes according to the manual. I might have to do a couple of flights to test out all of these features. It also mentions that when the quad is ready to take off, you can tap the top 3 times and it will do an auto takeoff. Sounds a bit dangerous to me. If you are unsure about the reliability of any of these features, you can actually buy a prop protection pack separately as well as spare batteries. I will link all of that in the description below. All of these features and functions sound good, but how does it perform in the real world? Let's cut to a live video and find out. So we have another horrendous day today. It's very windy and it does say don't fly it in heavy wind. So bear that in mind when you see today's result. So I mentioned in the video before that I made a couple of mistakes. The first one was taking off from my normal takeoff point over there. The second one was using that tail function on the phone. You see, this is a selfie drone, so the majority of the time it's going to be facing you nose in, and flying nose in wouldn't normally be a problem if you have a controller, but of course I'm using the phone, which I'm not used to, so I took off from that point there and then started inputting the controls to reverse it around so the quadcopter is facing towards me, and then I was putting the wrong input in on the phone and it flew into those trees there, and that is how it got damaged. So I've changed the controls to that head function. So basically this is now the front of the quadcopter and the camera is at the back, so that's what I'm going with. Hopefully I'll be able to get some results from it. I've got the camera face down at 45 degrees or minus 45 degrees, and that's because to get that tracking to work you have to have it in that option. So the grass is a bit long here, so I'm going to do the palm takeoff. It's going to be a bit risky because those propellers are really close to your hand, and so let's just see. It seems like it's disconnected. I'm not getting any camera feed there. Can you see? Disconnected, so I'm gonna have to reconnect it, I think. Let's go into the Do Fun app and let's see if it connects. There we go. I got footage now. It might just be that it was on the ground too long while I was explaining everything. So let's pick it up from the palm. It says I've got 13 satellites here. Now this is quite tricky. Let's do the palm takeoff here. So I want to watch my fingers are out of the way, press the palm button, and then I have to press confirm and then get out of the way. And you just sort of throw it into the air like that. Now it does seem to be drifting slightly, but it is windy. So let's just see how it hovers first of all. And I'm going to press the record button. Doesn't seem too bad. Let's take it up a bit higher so that you can get me in shot. So this is what it looks like without any stabilization or anything. And I think you'll see that the quality is pretty good. It does seem to be slightly hovering around there. And let's have a look at the picture. The reception's good, but it's a little bit jerky. But it is taking a selfie of me. But can you see there? It is slightly moving around. I've got 14 satellites. Let's try controlling it a bit. Let's bring it down. And let's see what those controls are like. This is its GPS hold. You can see that it is moving around. So let's try the control function. I'm going to press down and see what happens. Seems a little bit jittery, but it's working, look. Of course, you're just going to be looking at the ground with the photo. But that's working pretty accurately. A little jittery again. What's it say the battery's doing? 80%. So let's take it up to 5 meters. Actually, I want to send it back a little bit. You know, it is best using it in that reversed head mode. It's just easier. It is drifting around a bit. Okay, let's take it up to 5 meters. That's 3 meters. 4, 5. That's quite high up, that is. So just come into shot there. Quite high up. Oh, it's hovering much more stable now. But can you see on the video we've got a slight twitch again? The latency is not bad. That is hovering much better now. So before I go any further, let's try that flip function, because that's not going to work if the battery gets too low. So let's press the flip button, see what happens. Lower, what did that say? Low power, cannot use this function, but it's at 70%. So that seems a bit buggy. Low power, cannot use this function. So it seems like the flip button's not working anyway. Let's go for that tracking option. So let's go into the settings there. Target tracking. Please use this function in an open area. I am doing. Please set the camera to 45 degrees. I have done. Start EIS. And then draw a picture around me. And then start tracking. Now, that does seem to be tracking me. And it's also, but it's moving quite close towards the trees there. Oh, there we go, it's following me now. Yeah, I was getting very close to the tree, but it is tracking me. You do need a big space to do this, because that nearly went for the tree again. But you can see there, it's tracking me. It's quite clever actually, because it's got its camera face down, so it can't really get anything else in shot, so it starts tracking something else. I am very wary of it though, you know, because I don't have any panic button or anything like that. Let's stop the tracking. Oh, where's it going? Don't like that. Let's land it quick. Whoa, that really started to get out of shape there. Let's stop the video recording. See if there's any damage. And the arm's just folded in. So yeah, it seems like there's a lot to improve on with this one. 51% battery. So it was tracking me fine, and then I exited the tracking mode and it just sort of lost where it was there. Just get that arm back out. Also, what's interesting as well, it was sort of recording the video anyway, and then when I went into the tracking option, it started to apply the stabilization filter, so I don't know if that's going to have saved or anything like that. Well, let's see if it's still upset. So let's go for another takeoff. See what happens. I'm going to get out of the way very quickly. Takeoff. Confirm. Nothing's happening. So maybe. Let's try again. Takeoff. Confirm. There we go. It's quite scary when those motors start up. It does seem to be fine again. I didn't like that at all. Should we try that again? So take it up to 5 meters, only 51% battery, so I think I'm going to have to get a couple of flights in. 5 meters. I might actually take it a little bit further back, because that was too close to the trees for my liking. Okay, let's go for the tracking thing again. Target tracking. Confirm momentum open area. Confirm. Start EIS. Start tracking. Record. Is it following me? Yes, it is. Oh, that seems to be working much better. What battery on? 46%. You see there that the video is going at an angle. Oh, well, that is much more on point. Okay, let's stop that and stop tracking and see if it goes crazy again. Not this time. So that is much better. It's getting blown around a lot in the wind. Okay, let's see what happens if I press the return home. I'm going to press that now. It's just going to land where it took off from. Yeah, so it is working, but yeah, a little bit buggy. As I say, I've already received an update, so hopefully going to update it some more. You can see there that you're supposed to let it land on your palm, but I'm not too fond of that idea at all. These blades could do you some damage. So what else can we do? I want to see if that triple tap thing works. So let's try that. Start the video recording again. This could be tricky. How am I gonna do this? Let's go. I don't think this will work. 26% battery. Let's try 1, 2, 3. Maybe I'm tapping the wrong part of it. 1, 2, 3. So maybe that function doesn't work either. 1, 2, 3. I could be tapping the wrong part. That could be my fault. 1, 2, 3. Let's try that. 3, 2, 1. It's not taking off. Oh, there we go. Yes, it is. There's a little bit of a delay. So that works too, and it hovers at 1 meter. Oh, it's hovering really nice now. Look at that. That is locked in. Oh, look at that. When I put my hand underneath it, it lifts up. So that's the sensors underneath working. Lifting up. Actually, there we go. Low voltage, please return. That's come up at 14%. So I wonder what happens if you just leave it. Get some shots around it here. Nice looking thing. Oh, there we go. So at 3%, it has landed itself. Now that is pretty cool. So as I suspected, I couldn't get all of the features shown in one flight, but luckily, as the battery is quite small, it charges really fast. So I've changed the camera angle there so that it is flat. And let's see if we can try some more of the features. First of all, I just want to confirm that that triple tap is currently not working. I saw someone tap there 3 times very slowly. 1, 2, 3. Nothing happens. Also, I want to double check that that flip function doesn't work, so I'm gonna do a palm takeoff and confirm. Chuck it up in the air. So as you can see, I have to move back now to get myself in shot because the camera is level. You have to take it up above 3 meters according to the instructions to get it to do a flip. So what are we there? 4.2 meters. Let's try it. Oh, it actually did it. So that was weird because it wouldn't let me do it under 70% battery. Let's try again. We're at 95% battery and it gains a little bit of height and it does do a flip, so that function does work. You just have to have a full battery to do it. So let's come down a bit here, because the other thing that I want to try is that selfie flyaway shot. So let's just stop the video recording a second. It seems to be holding its position nicely. So I think if I go into this function here and go into shorts video, and then I've got it at 0 degrees. Apparently now I hold down this button. Yeah, look, it's actually stabilized the video there. That's quite nice. It's just not recording. It'd be nice if that stabilized footage was always there. I mean, you can see the footage there on my phone. So let's press that button. You have to hold it for 10 seconds apparently. Let's see what happens. Just gonna walk a bit closer to it. I don't want it getting too far away from me. Let's try it. Holding down the button. And it is flying away, but at an angle. And you can do it for 10 seconds and supposedly it will fly back. Still seems to be connected. Is it flying back? It is, and it's stabilized on the phone as well. Seems to be doing it at an angle though. Maybe it's the angle that it starts off at. I want to land that and tilt the camera down and try that again, because that was pretty cool. Let's bring it down for a landing. I just want to control it over where the grass is a bit shorter. So let's bring it in for a landing. I don't think I dare do a palm landing. Do I need to come out of that mode? It doesn't seem to be landing. How do I get it out of that mode? Doesn't seem to be coming home. Oh, I have to press the back button to get it out of that mode. And now let's do a landing now. It says it's doing a landing, but it's not. It's just hovering there. What happens if I press the home button? Okay, that did it. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but let's tilt the camera down slightly and I want to try that function again, because I quite like that mode. Again, a little bit buggy, it wouldn't land. Also, let's try the voice takeoff. Start the recording again. And you have to hold it down. Dobby, go. Dobby, go. It's saying no results match. I have to be quick. Dobby, go. Maybe it's my accent, doesn't like it. Let's try again. Fly up. No result matched. So I think I've pretty much exhausted that, okay? Let's do a palm takeoff and try that video feature again, okay? I quite like that. Confirm. I like how you can just throw it up in the air. It's a shame that voice feature doesn't seem to work. Okay. Let's stop video recording there and let's go into that short video setting again. I've got the angle at -22 now. So it's stabilized now. Let's lift it up a bit. That is really nice, you know, but you can only do a 10-second video with it stabilized like that. So I can show you the screen recorder to show you how stable that is, because that is really stable. That is impressive. You need to have that all the time. Okay, let's try that 10-second video again. Stand in shot and press the video for 10 seconds. And it should fly away. It's doing it nicely this time. Seems that everything is working on the second go. 9, 10, let go. Should fly back. And it is, but very slowly. And that was, say, perhaps, you know, maybe 30-40 meters, and it's come back. I quite like that, you know. That works well. Try it again. Hold the button down. It's a shame it only does it for 10 seconds. I'd love it if it was always stabilized. It's going to go further away this time. And if you don't let go of the button, it's just going to continue to fly away. Do you know what? I'm really impressed with the range considering this is on a phone. I think the most I've ever gotten a phone to work with a quad is probably 10 meters or so. So this is working pretty good. You do have to exit that mode, it seems, before you can have access to the settings. So let's see what else that we can try. I'm not going to bother with the selfie timer. Let's have a look at the continuous option. Let's do like a 15-second photo burst, see what happens there. It's making lots of noise. Seems to have done it. Let's get the video recording again. It says in progress. There we go. Video's recording again. So this has stabled out really nicely. This is without any digital stabilization, but I have to say it's quite impressive. Let's pirouette around. So everything is reversed at the moment. That upset it a little bit, but it recovers. Let's see if I can get that voice activation to work. Dobby back. Nah, just no results. Dobby back. I wonder if you can still do the tracking with the camera angle at the 22 degrees. Probably shouldn't. I'll take it up to 5 meters. Definitely going to move it backwards. It is flying really nice now, guys. Except I'm not in shot. So let's see what happens. Target tracking. Confirm. Confirm. Start EIS. Draw a picture of me. Start tracking. Yeah, it works still. tracking me, but at a distance. It works, even at a different angle. Stop tracking, bring it back. Oh, battery voltage getting low. Only 14%. Let's see what it does. I think that's pretty much all the features I'm interested in. It's hovering really nice. It's telling me to return home. Probably gonna land itself in a little bit. Which it is doing. I can't stop it. Before I conclude this product, I just want to cut in here and state that you can actually enable electronic image stabilization on all of your video recordings. And the way that you do that is this second icon down on the right here, and go into settings and then EIS, and then choose the angle of the camera. It's currently set at 0, and then that is now switched on. So if I lift the quadcopter up, I'm tilting the quad, but actually it's stabilizing it. Of course, if I go to the extreme there, we get the big black bars, but you can just press record there and it will record normal video stabilized. So back to the conclusion. So I didn't feel confident enough letting it go completely out of range or closing the app or anything. I'm just a little bit worried, you know, I do live near a residential area. I don't want this to go and fly off. It is small, but it still could do some damage. I think it weighs 199 grams. It does seem that the flight time is around 9 minutes, which is pretty cool. It was accurate on that. So what do I think of this thing? Well, it definitely needs some improving, but the good thing about that is it all seems to be software related issues, and when it does work, it works really well. Its position is absolutely lock solid, but I did have some inconsistency at first. Maybe 14 satellites wasn't quite enough for the size of the thing, and it did sort of toilet bowl a little bit, but then it did level out. Now, it is mentioned that you can fly this indoors. I don't think I'm going to be doing that. I don't think I trust it enough. Maybe it's not the device, but I'm so used to having a controller. So I think it'd be really nice, even from a hobby perspective, if they brought out a controller. Then I'd probably risk it indoors, because these propellers could do some damage indoors. And when you don't have any sort of panic button or anything like that, and it starts to drift off, etc., it gets a bad GPS signal indoors and you could be in trouble. So I would say just keep this as an outdoor flyer for now, and it definitely needs further updates to improve it. But there you go, that is my review of the Zerotech Dobby drone. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll put a link in the description if you wish to buy it, along with its accessories. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.